Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty features remedies for inner healing and outer beauty. Real-time conversations with sisters in the Hebrew Israelite community, focused on healing our spirit, mind, and body, which will contribute to the healing of our nation as a whole. Sip a cup of tea, wear your favorite turban, tee, or tunic, and enjoy Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty. Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty features remedies for inner healing and outer beauty. Real-time conversations with sisters in the Hebrew Israelite community, focused on healing our spirit, mind, and body, which will contribute to the healing of our nation as a whole. Sip a cup of tea, wear your favorite turban, tee, or tunic, and enjoy Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty. Shebrew Royalty. She's got the fruits of the spirit, love, joy, and peace. She's got long suffering, gentleness, and goodness, endurance, faith, and meekness too. Shebrew Royalty. She's got the fruits of the spirit.
Shalawam, 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 sisters. Come on in. Come on in. I see a couple of you are already here. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. I am so excited about tonight's show. Let us get this royal tea party started. Come on in. As you come in, do me a favor, hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because we are about to go in. We are about to go in. Yes, this is a very important and really, really, really timely topic for us. So before we go any further, because I'm getting ahead of myself already, before we go any further, let us give a huge shout out to the Most High, AHAYAH, AHAYAH, the God of the Hebrews and the Shebrews. Yes, I am that I am. In the name of his son, YASHAYA HaMashiach, whom the world calls Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit, RAWACH QADASH. So let's give them a huge, huge shout out, a praise for bringing us back together another week. We're starting another week. All praises to the Most High. There we go. And applause. Yes, all praises. So, yes, who is here thus far? Who is here thus far? Do we have Sister Ada here? Is Sister Shamara here? Who is here? Please drop a comment in the comment box. Let me know that you are here. I humbly thank you all for joining me on this broadcast today. I am your hostess, Kuala Yakaka, and I am so appreciative of you all coming out and and joining me tonight. Like I said, this is going to be a very good broadcast, I believe. So welcome back, sisters. Happy second day of the week. Yes, because it's after sundown. So we've already made it through one day already in this new week. So sisters, how was your week last week? How was your Purim celebration? For those of us that celebrated this past Shabbat, the Purim celebration, it was absolutely amazing. It was amazing, just as all of the feast days are. Yes, I pray that everyone had a blessed and productive week last week, and an amazing Purim celebration and blessed celebration. I know some of you in California are celebrating next Shabbat. So yes, we set the pace for you all. We out here in San Antonio set the pace for you all to pick up the torch and run with it next Shabbat as you celebrate your Purim, the Purim celebration, which we know is this Tuesday. Starts this Tuesday. So yes, I am so excited. I'm so thrilled. I'm so happy to be back. So let's get these disclaimers out of the way, sisters. Come on, drop me a comment in the comment box. Let me know that you are here. Even if it's just a shalom, a hand wave. I want to know who's here. All right? Let me know that you are here. So let's get these disclaimers out of the way so that we can jump right in, because there's so much information that we're going to be going into tonight. So let me start by saying tea time with Shebrew royalty is not going to be everybody's cup of tea. We understand, we get it, we don't expect it to be. But if you happen upon this channel and you realize, you know what, we're just not your cup of tea, you don't share our beliefs or lifestyle, that's okay. What I would do is encourage you to continue to search YouTube, because I know as you search YouTube, eventually you will find your perfect cup of tea and your perfect flavor. So you owe that to yourself. And what I do ask, though, is that you not leave any insults, any derogatory comments, statements in the comment box, because that would be distasteful. So we really appreciate if you will do that for us, and we thank you in advance. Sister Adonai is here. She says, Shalawam, sisters. The tea I'm drinking is on point. It's called Shebrews Strength Tonic Tea. Yummy. Oh, you already jumped ahead of the game, sis. You really did spill that tea. You spilled your tea. All right. All praises to the Most High. I'm excited for you too, sis. I am really excited for you too. I had that this morning. That's the tea that I had this morning, but I'll let you all know what I'm having tonight. I have another amazing tea that I'm going to let you all know all about it in just a few minutes. But the water for letting me know that, sis. The water. Also, although I am a licensed physician assistant and certified functional nutrition informed professional, and I will be touching on topics of health and wellness on my broadcasts, we will not be utilizing this platform to diagnose or treat anyone's illnesses. So if you are experiencing any medical problems whatsoever, please consult your healthcare provider. And the views that you will hear on this channel are the views of myself or my guest, and not those of any particular church or organization. Some videos and materials may feature foods, herbal teas, nutritional supplements, and skin or hair care products offered through Shebrew Royalty LLC. These products are not evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Results may vary, and individuals with allergies, underlying health conditions, or who are pregnant or nursing should consult a qualified health professional before using any product or adopting any wellness recommendations shared on this platform or the Shebrew Royalty LLC website. By watching this channel, you acknowledge and agree that you do so at your own risk. The creators, guests, and affiliates of this channel are not liable for any injury, loss, or damage arising from any information, suggestions, or practices shared here. So, sisters, we've got the disclaimers out of the way. Sister Phyllis is here. Sister Phyllis Robinson is here. Shalawam says. Oh, Thawada says, all praises to the Most High. Thawada. And welcome, Shalawam, my beautiful sister. So every week, as you all know, those of you who have been here for some time, and if you haven't, if this is your first time coming onto this channel, every week we feature a product from our Shebrew Royalty Temple Treasures or Hebrew Royalty product lines. We have so many incredible organic, all organic and natural products that sometimes it's really difficult to choose. So what we do is we help you to be able to make your choice by, just introducing you to one product a week. So tonight's featured product is handcrafted specifically for our Hebrew Kings by Shebrew Royalty's Hebrew Royalty Collection. So let's first talk about the Hebrew Royalty Collection if you're not already familiar with the product line. So the Hebrew Royalty Collection delivers premium, heritage-inspired care crafted with all organic ingredients. Inspired by ancient wisdom, each product blends natural strength and heritage to fuel modern wellness, offering a bold approach to self-care for the man who leads with confidence. So let us talk about our featured product for tonight. And actually, I am going to bring it up on the screen so you are aware. You get to see the product. Give me just a second. I'm going to bring it up for you. So when you go to the Shebrew Royalty website, you just click on the link. You would have to go over here under more, and you will see right here at the top, Hebrew Royalty Collection, and that is where we are at right now. And let's just scroll down. There's the Hebrew King right there, and here are the King's Essentials. So what you'll want to do is just scroll through here. I just read all of this, and we're going to scroll down until we get to our featured product for tonight. Here we go. We're still scrolling. Look at all the amazing things we have here, all of the amazing products. And here we are. We have made it to the Crown and Roots Locks Elixir. So here it is. It says, nourish your roots, strengthen your crown. Lightweight yet powerful, this herbal infused oil promotes growth and hydration for locks, braids, or natural hair. Keep your crown healthy, strong, and flourishing. And here are the ingredients: jojoba oil, grapeseed oil, black seed oil, nettle leaf, fenugreek seeds, and the essential oils are cedarwood, frankincense, rosemary, sandalwood, vetiver. And how would you use this oil? You apply lightly to the scalp, the roots, and along the locks, braids, or loose natural hair. 2 to 3 times per week. That's all. Doesn't have to be every day. And we are going to run right over here. I'm going to take you over to where it says shop here, and you'll see how to shop for the Hebrew Royalty Collection. There we go. There are the products. And you just scroll down until you get to the Crown and Roots Locks Elixir right here. And here it is. And here's all of the information that you need on this amazing product. Here we go. But I'm going to give you a little bit more information on, and it's right here, the essential oil blends, the ingredients, the benefits of all of the ingredients that are in this product. So we're going to start off with the base oils. The base oils are jojoba oil, grapeseed oil, and black seed oil. And the jojoba, it mimics the natural scalp oils or the sebum, and it absorbs really well. It's not a heavy oil that's going to weigh your hair down or clog your pores, anything like that. It's a really light oil, and it mimics your natural scalp oils, and it absorbs well. Then there's grapeseed oil, which is lightweight, and it strengthens the hair shaft. Black seed oil, we all know black seed oil has so many amazing health benefits. It's an ancestral herb for hair growth and strength. And then there's the essential oil blends. The cedarwood promotes growth. It has an earthy, masculine scent. Then there's frankincense. Who doesn't know about frankincense? Going back to biblical days, this is in the Bible. The frankincense is good for scalp health, and it's an ancient sacred oil. Rosemary stimulates the follicles and improves circulation. The sandalwood it's warm and it's grounding. And then vetiver, this isn't a very common essential oil, but it's so amazing and powerful. It stimulates scalp circulation, soothes irritation, it helps reduce breakage, making it a powerful addition to this herbal blend for strong, flourishing locks. And the botanical infusion, these are the herbs that we infuse in the base oils. The nettle leaf, which strengthens and supports hair growth, and the fenugreek seeds, which also boost hair health and creates shine. So those are all of the amazing ingredients that's in this Hebrew Royalty Crown and Roots Locks Elixir. But sisters, not because it says Hebrew Royalty means that we can't also use this oil. We can definitely use this hair oil as well. We crafted it specifically for the brothers, for the kings, but we can use this oil as well. So if you have locks, if you have braids, if you have hair, this is one of the oils that we offer. All right. So there it goes. There it goes. And this is an 8-ounce bottle, and it goes a long way. All right, sisters. That is our featured product for the night. That is our featured product. And let's see who made it here since I was here just yapping about our product. Let's see who's here. Sister Phyllis, Sister Paula, you are here. Praise the Most High. Good to see you, sis. Shalawam. Shalawam, good to see you. So, yes, I forgot to mention, in celebrating of celebration of the upcoming Feast of Purim. We still have a few days, sisters. We're having our spectacular Feast of Purim sale on our website. We are still having that sale. So let me share the screen with you again, sisters. Share screen with you. So when you come to the website, you come to the home page, you'll see our banner right up here. And usually when you come onto the page for the first time, there's also going to be a pop-up. But since I've been on this page for a minute today, let me see if it pops up on another page. But there's usually a pop-up that will remind you of our 20% off all of our products. And the coupon code is Purim 2026, no space in between. Purim 2026. Do not forget to use the code to get your 20% off. All right, sisters, please get on this site and do your shopping. It's not too late. It's not too late to shop for Purim. Purim hasn't even gotten here yet. Sister Adana, no, it's been on here. You know, I have 2 hair oils. I have 2. And I featured the other one, but no, neither of them are new oils. They've been on the site for a while. But it's an amazing product. But the Crowning Glory hair growth oil, that one is superb. I do, sis. Yes, I do. I do take verbal order requests or text messages. Of course I do. Yes, just hit me up and let me know what you want, sis. Hit me up. So, wow, now it's time to talk tea. Now it's time to talk tea, sisters. What is your cup of tea? What is your cup of tea tonight? Talk to me. Sister Adana already let me know she is having Shebrew Strength tonic tea, and she is loving it from what I'm hearing. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. She is loving it, so that's awesome. Sisters, talk to me. What is your cup of tea? What are you sipping on tonight? What are you sipping on? It doesn't have to be tea. If you're having water, if you're having, maybe a tonic, maybe some wine, some juice, whatever it may be, drop the comment in the comment box and let me know. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk. So my cup of tea tonight, here it is. It's a beautiful, beautiful red color. And oh my goodness, it's another yummy, yummy, yummy tea. Oh my goodness. My cup of tea tonight is Shebrew Royal Tea by Shebrews Royal Teas. Shebrew Royal Tea is my cup of tea tonight, sisters. So let's talk about this tea. First of all, let's talk about Shebrews Royal Teas. Let's talk about our royalties. Our royalties are a collection of organic, loose leaf teas that are designed to promote inner healing and vitality. We believe that tea is more than a drink. It's a celebration of wellness, a moment of restoration, and a sacred connection to nature. Our handcrafted all organic teas are intentionally blended using ancient herbal wisdom to nourish the body, calm the mind, and uplift the spirit. Whether you're seeking balance, energy, or deep relaxation, every sip is designed to support your well-being from the inside out. So we want you to experience the power of nature in every cup or glass, because true royalty starts with self-care, which is one of the things we're going to be talking about tonight, right? That's why we need our teas. This is part of our self-care. Our teas. Sister Adana says, sis, Diane says her messages are not showing up in the chat. They're not. No, they're not. I didn't know she's here. Sister Diane, what you may want to do is go out and refresh, or probably just refresh the page and come back in and see if that works. Maybe it's just a glitch. Yeah, go out and come back in, because that's bizarre. But you know, with technology, we never know. We never know what is going to happen. So let me take you back over to the website, and we can talk about Shebrew royalty. So we are going to go to the royalty tab right here. And here is a list of our teas. Our tea, here's our menu for inner healing and vitality. All of our royal teas are handcrafted with organic and natural ingredients to help promote and maintain inner healing and vitality. So let's scroll down to Shebrew royal tea. There it is, right there. So it says here, the purpose of this tea, first of all, is fit for a queen, and it is rooted in wisdom. The purpose of this tea, it's an all-organic loose-leaf tea blend designed to nourish the body, elevate the spirit, and support the essence of divine womanhood. And it's ideal for daily tea time, self-care ceremonies, if you just want to sit back and chill and, you know, just pamper yourself. This tea is perfect for that. Quiet moments of reflection. And some of the health benefits, the key benefits, are hormonal balance and womb support, heart health, inner calm and emotional harmony, and skin radiance, and a gentle detox. And the ingredients are rose petals, raspberry leaf, chamomile, holy basil or tulsi, orange peel, hibiscus, red clover, and shatavari root. And we're going to go over to the store, where we have a little bit more information over there about this product. Let's go to the store. Run over here, click on the Royal Teas tab. And go right here to Shebrew Royal Tea. Here we go. And this is what a cup of tea that's steeping looks like. You get to see all of the yummy ingredients in there. And that's what it looks like up close and personal after it's steeped. So let's go over here and talk about the ingredients and what each ingredient brings to the table. So we start with the rose petals, which is a heart opener. It promotes self-love and beauty. We know roses, you know, roses just put you in a good mood. Roses just signify love and beauty. And then there's raspberry leaf, which is a womb tonic. It supports the reproductive system. And chamomile calms the nervous system and soothes inflammation. The holy basil or tulsi is an adaptogen for stress relief and mental clarity. Orange peel uplifts the mood, aids in digestion, and it just adds a bright note to the tea. Hibiscus, wow, wow, wow. So rich in antioxidants. It supports blood and heart health. Then there's red clover, which supports hormonal balance and skin health. And lastly, the shatavari root, which is a rejuvenated herb for female vitality. So aren't those a lot of ingredients in this tea? Look at all of the benefits that you get in 1 cup of tea. Amazing. And it's super delicious. It is just another really delicious tea. Yes, Khan, Sister Habkarad. Yes. Khan, did she go out and come back in? Is she still having the same issue? Sister Adana, is she still having the same issue? So sisters, remember, before consuming any herbal teas or supplements, please be sure to check with your healthcare provider or pharmacist to avoid potential interactions with medications or any health conditions, and if you are pregnant or nursing. Yes, it didn't work. I don't know what's going on. That is really strange. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to fix that. She can hear us okay. She hears and sees everything else is fine except for chat, except for her leaving a comment. I don't know what's going on. Yes, it didn't work. You know, my sister told me she was having the same problem, but that was a while back, where she couldn't chat. She can hear just fine. Wow. I don't know what's going on. Did she just refresh? If she only refreshed the page, she may want to shut down her laptop or her computer all the way, and just start her laptop back up again, her computer up again. Just turn it off and come back in if she hasn't already done that. So sisters, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell again. Or if you haven't already done so. And also don't forget to follow us on Instagram. We are at Shebrew Royalty LLC on Instagram. And I am going to put this reminder up on the screen right now. Give me just a second. This reminder to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all of that good stuff. There we go. That little reminder right there. So sisters, we have come to the end of Shebrew Royalty's 21-day immune restoration series. Week 1 was renewal. It was about calming inflammation and restoring the foundation. Week 2 was strengthening, building resilience and defense. And this past week, week 3, we talked about immune protection, about how to protect the immune system beyond the 21 days. So, sisters, how are you all feeling? YouTube put her on time. YouTube told her, you are always showing up first, and we are not going to have you showing up first this time. Oh my goodness. Oh, I sure hope that she gets back in, that she's able to chat. So you're feeling great, Sister Adina. All praises to the Most High. So am I. So am I. Were there any takeaways that any of you decided to hold on to, and any old habits that you decided to give up? Talk to me. For myself, I am really trying to get more rest and to drink more water. I drink plenty of teas, but I really want to drink more water. So I'm working on that. I'm especially making an effort to drink that warm lemon water in the morning when I wake up. So that's one of the things that I'm really trying to do. And I've been successful for the last maybe 4 days, 5 days. I've been doing good. All praises to the Most High, sis. Sister Phyllis, all praises to the Most High. You are doing well. Awesome. Yeah, so that is what I am doing. I am trying to get more rest. As a matter of fact, last night when I got home, because we had the celebration last night. When I got home last night, I wanted so badly to just sit here until probably 3 a.m. preparing my show for today. Excuse me. But oh my goodness, I was in a fight with myself, because one part of me wanted to stay up. The other part is telling me, oh boy, you need some rest. You're tired. And I was here fighting myself. And eventually I just said, you know what? I'm losing. I'm fighting myself and I'm losing. So I'm going to bed. So I went to bed and got up this morning. I was feeling so rested and relaxed and invigorated. And I got up this morning and I was able to plug through and finish getting the show ready for tonight. Took me most of the day, but I had the energy, I had the clarity. I wasn't falling asleep. I wasn't fighting with myself. I was here. It was nice and calm and quiet at home. And I was able to do what I needed to do without fighting myself and fighting a losing battle. I know, sis. You said it's so hard to remember to do those breathing techniques. I drink warm water with Celtic salt in the morning. All praises to the Most High. Yeah, it is. It's not until you're sitting there and something clicks and it's like, oh yes, I'm supposed to be breathing slowly. I'm supposed to be taking nice, deep, slow breaths. I know, sis, because we're so accustomed to just rushing through everything. And we're so much on autopilot and there's always so much to do that just sitting down and relaxing. Here's a thought. Set a timer for every 30 minutes for the timer to just go off silently. And when it goes off, that's a reminder. I'm going to do that. That's a reminder to do my breathing. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set my alarm for every 30 minutes. Yep, as a reminder. or every hour, however often that you think that would work for you. So, all right, it's showtime, sisters. Shalom, shalom, beautiful sisters. Welcome back to Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty. It is showtime. Oh my goodness, I am so grateful and blessed to have you all with me today. Tonight, actually, we're naming something that many people feel, but few are given language for, right? Sometimes we know we feel this, but we don't know how to articulate it at times. And tonight we're talking about why you can't heal a body that you hate. Isn't that something? Isn't that a thought? All praises to the Most High, Sister Phyllis. All praises. Yes, sometimes we just need that prompt to remind us. And then after a while, it will become habit. So you won't even need that alarm anymore. So why you can't heal a body that you hate? This is not about vanity. It's not about toxic positivity, right? This is about understanding how the relationship you have with your body directly shapes your ability to heal physically, emotionally, neurologically, and even spiritually. If you've ever felt betrayed by your body, who's ever felt betrayed by their body? It's like, why are you doing this to me? Why are you treating me this way? My body is like acting up, right? And it's like a betrayal. You're not supposed to act like this. I'm feeding you, I'm clothing you. What more do you want from me? So if you've ever felt betrayed by your body, if you've ever pushed yourself out of frustration instead of care, you're just pushing yourself. If you've ever thought, why can't you just work, body? What's wrong with you? I'm so serious. This conversation is for you. If you've ever had this type of a conversation with your body, this is definitely the conversation for you. So I want you all to understand that this conversation is not solely about exposing the problem, but coming to the solution, which is healing through self-love. So yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of issues, but I want you to stick around. Even if this conversation stirs up some negative emotions that may be uncomfortable, healing is on the way. Healing is on the way. But we have to push through these issues that's causing us or have caused us to not have such a great relationship with our body. So this topic really stirred something in me when I received an email from the Epic Times. I've talked about them before. Their health publication. I get a lot of articles from them, and their articles are always so thought-provoking. So this title, Why You Can't Heal a Body That You Hate, when I saw that, I thought, wow, that's profound. So many thoughts just started flooding my mind, and that was a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, just before I started the 21-day immune restoration, or just when I had started the first week, I think, somewhere in that time frame. But that's when I received that email, and I thought, wow, this is something. And at the time, I didn't go into the email and read it and go through everything. But when I saw the title, the topic, I thought I definitely have to revisit that. And then I couldn't get the topic out of my mind. And just Friday night, I thought, this is the week that I really need to touch on this, especially since we just went through those 21 days of restoration. I think this is the perfect time for us to have this conversation. So, having worked in healthcare for 40 plus years and treated patients in various stages of their lives with diverse backgrounds and with a variety of medical and mental illnesses, substance abuse, and addiction, so many thoughts came to my mind. But the thoughts didn't stop there, because I still am a source of support and help for family members, friends, acquaintances, and of course, my sisters and brothers in Christ in YASHAYA, when it comes to providing advice on health-related issues. So not because I retired from patient care means that I've retired from giving advice and being a source of help for others. Not to mention now knowing why we as a people struggle with so many health issues due to, we know what, right? The curses that have been passed on from generation to generation. In healthcare, these curses are camouflaged under the label of family medical history, right? What about the negative comments, stereotypes, racially motivated hateful remarks about our skin color, hair texture and length, the size of our lips, our hips, our bottoms, and other body parts that did not conform to societal norms at that time? We endured a lot of that. And for some people still do, right? Or maybe it's a birth defect that others felt warranted you being ridiculed because of this birth defect. We're talking about physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, sexual, medical, and verbal abuse and trauma that have impacted how we view ourselves and our own bodies. These are the things that we're going to talk about tonight. These illnesses, curses, conditions, false beliefs, whatever we call them, can cause us to develop a not so loving relationship with our bodies. The same body that we are struggling to heal because we have not learned how to tune out or turn off the noise in the background. This is what we're going to talk about tonight, how to tune out or turn off that noise of all that negativity that's in the background. So when I received that email, what it contained was a video. It was a video by that title, Why You Can't Heal a Body You Hate. This video is by Dr. Will Cole, and I want us to watch this video. And once we're done watching this video, we're going to discuss it for a little bit, and then we're really going to go in deep, because there are some things that he brought out, and then there are some other things that I really want us to expound on based on, our own backgrounds and history. So let's check out this video. Once again, this is Why You Can't Heal a Body You Hate. This is by Dr. Will Cole, and I want you to know this is fair use for educational purposes only. Let's watch this video. And this video is 24 minutes long, and I'm not going to interrupt it. I'm going to let it play all the way through. Fair use for educational purposes only.
Physical health, but that shouldn't be, right? I mean, mental health is physical health. Our brain.
Let me trying to get it back to the. It is not letting me move this. There we go. Let's start at the beginning.
In the West, we'll often separate mental health from physical health, but that shouldn't be, right? I mean, mental health is physical health. Our brain, our nervous system's a part of our body. We're eating the most nutrient-dense foods under the sun. We love our kombucha. We're doing all the peptides and stem cells and nutrient-dense foods. But what are we feeding our head and our heart on a daily basis? So it's really a conversation about self-respect and discernment on the things that love you back and the things that don't love you back. And that could be food, it could be habits, it could be drinks, it could be people around you.
Dr. Wilcole, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So I was looking through your book, Gut Feelings.
Yes.
There's so many interesting things, but I looked at the back of the book, and the one thing that just caught my eye was that you said you can't heal a body you hate. What do you mean by that?
So that book was, I mean, all the books that I've written are just conversations that I wanted to have with people that aren't my telehealth patients, and seeing a ripple effect, if you will, of things I've seen improve people's lives, improve people's quality of life, and building vibrant wellness. The whole book is about the intersection between mental health and physical health. And it's bidirectional. And physical health, underlying gut issues, environmental toxins, nutrient deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, things that we can measure directly impact someone, it will impact people's mental health, right? And in the West, we'll often separate mental health from physical health, but that shouldn't be, right? I mean, mental health is physical health. Our brain, our nervous system's a part of our body just as much as anything else is. But then conversely, we have to deal with the mental, emotional, spiritual things as well. Things like chronic stress, unresolved trauma, shame, rage, self-loathing, and hatred towards other people. Those things are stored in the body just as much as an environmental toxin. And I see people, especially within the health, biohacking world, they get all the physiological stuff right? But what happens if we're eating the most nutrient-dense foods under the sun? We love our kombucha. We're doing all the peptides and stem cells and nutrient-dense foods. But what are we feeding our head and our heart on a daily basis? These things matter. They're food, they're information for our biochemistry, just like anything else is. So it's that book gave me an opportunity to really write about the research around, like I have every telehealth patient fill out what's called an ACE questionnaire, ACE score, adverse childhood experiences, and it looks at very heavy things like physical abuse growing up, sexual abuse growing up, neglect growing up, substance abuse in the home, your parents' relationship. The higher your ACE score, the more likely you're to have autoimmune problems, metabolic problems, fertility issues, and of course, mental health issues. So that's just the beginning of it, but we then need to talk about your life as an adult too. I mean, what have you gone through? So I see people all the time kind of stuck in that frenetic fight or flight. They're doing all the wellness things as a form of almost self-punishment and frenetic doing. And that's not good for healing, right? It's really not good for healing at all. So it's an important part of my work, I guess. Yeah.
So when people come to you, again, you said like physiological markers, we can like measure them in the lab, but the mental, spiritual aspects might be a little more difficult. How do you talk with someone to kind of like tease that out and figure out where they're at?
It's a good question. Well, you'll see the indirect manifestation of somebody's mental emotional, spiritual health in their labs, right? I mean, a dysregulated neuroimmunoendocrine axis, that intersection between the nervous system, the immune system, in the form of inflammation. Inflammation's a manifestation of the immune system, and the endocrine system, someone's hormones. If you look at nervous system health on the lab, gut health on the lab, you look at inflammation levels on the lab, you look at hormonal imbalances on the lab, you have to, like my job is to look at both the physiological and the psychological, both the gut and the feelings, and the bidirectional crosstalk between the two. So indirectly on the mental, emotional, spiritual things, you'll see inflammation levels high. You'll see hormonal imbalances showing up on biomarkers. But those questionnaires and conversations in a health history really are giving the context to these proverbial check engine lights that we're seeing on the lab. So is it an environmental toxin? Is it some sort of virus, bacteria, parasite, some biotoxin that's impacting inflammation or nervous system dysregulation? It could be, and we want to rule that out. But then also we can't ignore that sort of information, what's their relationships like? What's their work environment like? What was their past like? And it's just conversations, really. Health history gets the things that the labs can't get, or brings context to those snapshots in time, those labs.
So you have a term, shameflammation.
Yeah.
Can you explain that for me? And
I made up that word. So normally when people ask me about it, they like, how do you even pronounce it?
I wonder the same thing.
You said it right.
Right? Okay.
Which is rare. Normally people are like shameflation.
Right.
I feel like it's some economic term. But shameflammation is just an intersection, or it's really my made up word to explain the research of how do things like shame and things that cause shame, like unresolved trauma and chronic stress. So past trauma that's living in their body, right? There's a lot of shame around that. But then chronic stress, we overlook that. And somebody is not having healthy margins in their life. They really have a lot of overwhelm in their life and burnout. They are not showing up as the best version of themselves. They're eating foods that don't love them back. They're stress eating. They're snapping at their loved ones. There's a lot of there's a shameflammation spiral that a lot of people can have, but it's my way of describing how does shame impact inflammation? How does shame, things that cause shame, impact our biochemistry and dysregulate our body? So yeah, it's part of that whole conversation. And I really feel, look, it's a part of my conversations with our telehealth patients, but I feel like it should be interconnected with all fields of healthcare. Like you can't really look at the chronic disease epidemic and the amount of autoimmune conditions and fertility issues without talking about this mental, emotional, spiritual component to human health.
So when you talk about shame, I think of blame as well. Like people blame themselves all the time.
Totally.
How do you help someone, not blame themselves, but also take responsibility for their health?
Yeah. That's the art. That's the art of it, right? I mean, that's the nuance and context, right? Because you can overcorrect and placate and pander and give flippant, vapid sounding sound bites that sound good on social media, but really aren't meaningful or helpful in real life to move the needle in somebody's life, right? So it's balancing grace with truth and speaking the truth in love. That's really what it is. Because, right, if somebody's self-sabotaging, you don't pander to that information. If they're doing self-sabotaging behaviors, right? You could say just, give yourself more compassion. No, you want to call someone greater, yes, compassion, but not to stay in something that's not loving them back. And I think that's the paradigm shift, really. I think to get to the heart of how I see something like this is like continuing to do something that doesn't love you back and wondering why you're still miserable. It's like staying in a toxic relationship and wondering why you're not happy. And avoiding something that doesn't love you back isn't restrictive, isn't toxic diet culture, isn't negative. It's self-respect. So it's really a conversation around self-respect and discernment on the things that love you back and the things that don't love you back. And that could be food, it could be habits, it could be drinks, it could be people around you, behaviors. All of these things, I think, just having this aha moment of what are the things that love your body back and what love your soul back and the things that don't.
Hmm. I want to go back to the aspect of inflammation.
Yeah.
How are you able to tell, when, because inflammation can be a good thing as well.
Yeah.
How do you know when it's a signal for something and when it's actually like the enemy?
Yeah, you're right. Inflammation isn't inherently bad. God made inflammation. It's not a bad thing. But it's a product of the immune system. It fights off viruses, kills off bacteria, it heals wounds. Appropriate inflammatory responses is a normal thing, right? So you want to look at these snapshots in time. High sensitivity C-reactive protein, I think, is a good surrogate marker. It's a good proxy for other states of inflammation and different interleukins, a different inflammatory marker. So it's one way to look, and we want it to be in the optimal range. But to your point, if somebody has a flu, or fighting off a virus, whenever they got that HSCRP test, is that really bad? You want that to come up then. You're going to see CRP come up whenever someone's fighting something off. You just don't want it chronically elevated. So it's chronic inflammation, not acute inflammation. That is that proverbial forest fire that's, okay, there's no virus, there's no active viral infection. They're not fighting off a cold or flu, but that HSCRP is staying elevated for months on end.
Right.
That is not okay. That is a dysregulation or breaking of that Goldilocks principle, homeostasis. Not too high, not too low, but just right. So yeah, we have conversations and they say, the patients will say, yeah, I had a sore throat, or I was fighting something off, and it's never been high. That inflammation marker was never high any other time. Okay, and that's not a big deal. It's supposed to be like that. Let's retest and see where it's at. But yeah, the context, I think, is important around the tests, and that's where, again, conversations happen. But then the bigger question for me is, like, what is causing that, right? I mean, because inflammation is not inherently bad, and it's the commonality between just about every health problem under the sun, but commonality doesn't tell you, well, what's causing it. So I think that's the bigger question for me, of like looking at these upstream root issues of what's causing these chronic inflammatory problems in the first place.
So what are those issues that you notice?
There's both physiological and psychological components to it, but I would say, and we can't ignore this, right? I mean, there's 50 million, it's an estimated 50 million Americans have an autoimmune disease, millions more obviously around the world, hundreds of millions of people, and hundreds of millions of people are somewhere on this autoimmune inflammation spectrum. I see this, and let's just not say autoimmune, but mental health issues, metabolic issues, fertility issues, those are all inflammatory. And I see all these issues through the lens of like an ancestral mismatch. I think that's the best way that I think it explains why we're seeing it like never before. Yes, part of it's greater awareness, but no one's going to say, well, just because we understand it more. More people are struggling with poor health in Western societies. So researchers estimate that our genetics haven't changed in thousands of years, but and our world has changed dramatically in such a finite period of time. So it's the foods we're eating and the foods we're not eating. It's chronic stress, it's unresolved trauma, it's environmental toxins, it's biotoxins like bacteria, viruses, and molds and parasites. It's that proverbial bucket that's your genetic bio-individuality of how much stress can your body handle. Some people have big buckets, some people have smaller buckets. You can't change the bucket. You can't change your own genetic uniqueness of methylation, detox, HLA gene variants, but you can change what you put in the bucket. Humanity is just, their bucket's overflowing more than ever before.
Mm. So I've heard people make the argument, these ancestry like alignments, that things like alcohol are okay because we've had them for so long.
Yeah.
And it's not a toxin because because it has ceremonial use as well.
Yeah.
What do you think of alcohol?
Let's get a little controversial, right?
Please, sir.
Yes. People bring that up to me a lot. They'll say, because I'll talk about alcohol and the research around alcohol, the healthiest amount of alcohol is none. And then people get what the heck is he talking about? And they bring up resveratrol. It's resveratrol. That's why it's heart healthy. Most of that research is funded by the alcohol industry. And look, yes, there's some redemptive quality to resveratrol and alcohol, but it's not, you can have resveratrol without a neurotoxin involved. So by all means, I love the research around resveratrol, but is that really an argument to involve it with alcohol? I don't think that if you compare the pros and cons, for most people, the cons are going to outweigh the pros. The grandma conversation the ancestor conversation. My grandma lived until she was 99, 102, and she drank every day. We don't live in the world that grandma lived in. So yeah, you're right. Your grandma had more wiggle room. Her bucket probably had more wiggle room. We don't have that. Most of us don't have that resilience because it's not just the alcohol. It's not just the neurotoxin. It's the forever chemicals. It's the microplastics. It's the heavy metals. It's the herbicides. It's the pesticides. It's technology and all the EMFs. It's all of that stuff. So yes, if we went back to 1922, maybe we could have that wine, no problem. This is a new age in many different ways, and I think the alcohol conversation is part of it. It's stressing an already stressed out immune system. It's stressing an already stressed out nervous system. So something's got to give, and it's not so easy to just say, well, I won't come into any contact with forever chemicals anymore. We live in a modern world. But what do we have agency over? Okay, we cannot have that drink on a consistent basis that's not loving us back. Back to our earlier comment, if it's loving you back truly and you're not just gaslighting or telling yourself something that you want to hear, if you're really having an honest conversation and it's loving you back, then no shame. Godspeed. And maybe you have a healthy relationship emotionally with alcohol. Maybe you have a physical and it's okay. Your body can handle that stressor. Because there is an argument for like the hormetic effect. Like if you're drinking a small amount occasionally, you could probably make the argument that is alcohol in these micro doses a hormetic effect on the body? I acknowledge that. I think that there's something to that. But most people, it's too much hormesis on a consistent basis. And it's just, they're just completely not wanting to see. And these are the dark corners of wellness because people will do all the wellness stuff and they're drinking on a daily basis. And I just need to tell them, just stop drinking, giving them the permission to do it. And their life transforms. It's not always that easy, but sometimes it is for the healthy, otherwise healthy person.
So you speak about intuition as well. You have a book on intuition, intuitive fasting, and
Yeah.
the gut feeling. How does intuition play into health? Because I could also make the argument, oh, I just feel like alcohol is good for me. So how can we distinguish subjective feelings of health with objective metrics of health?
Yeah. I love these questions. This is really good. So I get into in the book because, is it intuition or is it self-sabotage? Is it intuition or hangriness? Is it intuition or hormonal imbalances? Is it intuition or unresolved trauma in the body, right? I mean, there's definitely a distinction. So the conversation I have in intuitive fasting is really about building metabolic flexibility. So depending on the study that you cite, it's upwards of, like a UNC reports, is upwards of 93% of the United States is metabolically inflexible or metabolically rigid. They're on this blood sugar roller coaster. So it's showing up on labs as high triglycerides above 100, HDL below 59. There's high inflammation markers, high insulin, fasting insulin, high glucose, high A1C, even subclinical, even just outside of the optimal range. They're somewhere on that insulin resistance spectrum. And they are really dysregulated. Their blood sugar's all over the place. And this is a leading cause of heart disease in the United States. 1 in 2 people will have this. This is a lot of people. So, and it can show up not just with cardiometabolic, classic symptoms. It can show up as infertility. I mean, PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, is a leading cause of infertility in women. It could show up as mental health issues, insulin resistance in the brain. It can show up as neurodegenerative issues. Alzheimer's is called type 3 diabetes for this reasons. It could show up as many different problems. It's gasoline on other health issues, insulin resistance is. So my point being here is that when you have metabolic inflexibility, when you're hangry, you're wired and tired, anxious and exhausted, it's really going to be difficult to have discernment on what loves you back and what doesn't. Because you're not hearing that still small voice of the knowing that this loves me back, this doesn't. And then on top of that, we're so dysregulated with all the constant FOMO-inducing content and the distraction and numbing that social media and consumerism has for us. So we are disillusioned. There's a lot of fog around people's even clarity on the things that love them back and what doesn't. So the intuitive fasting is really nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun, but it's showing at the science of how fasting has been used. It can be used as a medicine, and fasting can be used as a meditation. And how all of our ancestors, no matter where they came from, pretty much all used fasting as a medicine and meditation. And even the fathers of modern medicine, Hippocrates, used fasting. Paracelsus, the father of toxicology, he was known as a Martin Luther of medicine. He was reforming medicine at the time, and in the 14th, 15th century. And he called fasting the physician within, which I think is a beautiful way of putting it. So yes, we have to build metabolic flexibility and then have a sort of mindfulness practice. And you can use fasting as a way to do that, to calm that noise, calm that dysregulation, and then have clarity that you will know. But no, I haven't seen this not be true for anybody. You will know at that point that alcohol does not love you back. You won't be fooling yourself because you feel so good. You will never want to have something in your light. You won't, because you've created this resilience. You've created this clarity. You've gained a bright light in your life, that anything that's going to dim that light is like a bad trade-off. So it's not this, I can't have this alcohol or I can't have this food that doesn't love me back. It's that, no, I love feeling great more than I want something that doesn't love me back. So that's really what I'm talking about in that book.
Okay. I'm really curious about other modes of healing. And I've been thinking about Chinese medicine. And it's really interesting that the Chinese character of medicine has a Chinese character of music inside of it. Because they thought that music could heal the body through harmony. Pythagoras thought the same thing, the harmony of the cosmos with the body.
Yeah.
And I heard that you went to watch Shen Yun, the show,
Yes.
the classical Chinese dance performance. And they also have a performance of the erhu where they're showing the music and how it can heal you. I'm wondering if you can comment on the show and also maybe give me some comments on how music can harmonize the body.
Yeah. Oh, it's powerful. I think what they're doing is amazing. And I think bringing art and culture and music and dancing is medicine for many different ways. It's medicine for the dancer, the artist, and it's medicine for the people watching it. Studies that show that bringing more art into your life, going to maybe a free museum, going seeing Shen Yun, going and seeing something else, has a modulating effect on our biochemistry. It regulates that neuroimmunoendocrine axis. Humans would have done that for eons in different ways. I mean, cave paintings eons ago, humans did it for what reason? They did it because there was this innate, ineffable connection we had with creativity. So when we're divorced from that, there is a problem. There's the chronic health problems arise. So yeah, I want to prescribe people to go to a great show just as much as I would, a peptide or something like that. So it's powerful. And obviously from a somatic standpoint, it's very healing for the dancer, for the artist too. Movement as medicine on that side of things. So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question, but it is very important. And when cultures and societies and nation states suppress creativity and art, it suffocates the people.
Why do you think music, culture, art can, make us healthier? Is it because it connects us to something higher?
Yeah, I think the mechanism of action there is interesting. Yeah, I do think there's some spiritual aspect to it. There's an ineffable quality of, yeah, I do think it's a spiritual thing. So even if people aren't considering themselves even spiritual or religious, that ballet, that dance, that Shen Yun could be that sort of awe. There's a Hebrew word, irah, it means the awe. Like when the Bible says the fear of God, it's not actually fear, it's awe. And I think that sort of awe of what the human experience can do and bring, and beauty, I think, seeing beauty. And I talk about God art, and that's nature, and the Japanese researcher on Shinrin-yoku of forest bathing and using nature as a meditation and as a medicine. But I think there's man art too. I mean, as in my opinion, is God, we're creations of God. What can we do through our own creativity? So I do think that there's a connection between Shinrin-yoku research and what's happening there. Not the phytocyanides and like the essential oils in nature, but I just mean the beauty, the awe of nature, and the beauty, the awe of museums and plays and dances. I think all of that stuff is really helping to reconnect us to something greater.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
If people are more interested in your work, where can they find you?
Everything's at drwillcole.com. drwillcole.com. Telehealth clinic, the podcast. I have a podcast called The Art of Being Well. That's why it's funny that you had asked me that. What else? Tons of free resources. I write articles. So yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Wow. Wasn't that an awesome interview? Wasn't that so awesome? There was just so much nuggets that he dropped there. So many nuggets that he dropped there. So before we move on, what are your thoughts about what Dr. Cole mentioned in the video? Like I said, it was so much information. When he talked about the shame, he talked about how we basically abuse our bodies with the food, with drugs, with alcohol. There's just so many ways that we do so many things that don't, like he says, love us back. So many of us love certain things, but in the end, those things don't love us back. I saw this so much working in healthcare, especially when I worked in addiction medicine, to see how people would be on this roller coaster. We'd finally get them clean, and they say, "Oh my gosh, it feels so good to be clean and sober." And then a month later, 2 months later, they're back again. It was like a revolving door. To feel good temporarily, Khan says. And let's see, we have Sister Renee is here. Shalawam sis, Shalawam, welcome. Aquat Sierra is here. Shalawam, so good to see you all. Welcome, welcome. But yeah, there was just so many nuggets. And then when he talked about the mind, body, spirit connection, and unfortunately, there are so many providers out there that, you know, you come in with a problem with one body part, and that's all they will be concerned about, that one body part, and not really delve in deeper to see how this injury or this, you know, this condition, whatever it may be, how it may be impacting you as a whole person rather than just a body part, right? So is there anything that Dr. Cole said that really resonated or stirred up any emotions, whether those emotions are from past or present? Let me know if there was anything that he brought out that resonated with you. Like I said, he did drop a lot of nuggets in there. When he talked about the shame, talked about all of the you know, when he talked about the grandmother, I think it was a grandmother who someone would say, oh, she lived to be 90 something years old and she drank every day and so on and so forth. And he said, yeah, but grandma wasn't dealing with all of the other issues that we're dealing with in modern times. She didn't have all of the, you know, exposure to the EMP, the chemtrails, the food. She was probably eating fresh fruits and vegetables out of her garden and not going to the grocery store and getting GMO foods and water that's tainted with all kinds of chemicals, and then the clothing that we wear, all of the chemicals that we put on our bodies, everything that we're inhaling and ingesting, the horrible cooking oils. Khan says, yes, those seed oils. There's just so much so much toxicity that's around us, and it's affecting our health. And so because of these health issues, and then he mentioned trauma. There was he talked about the trauma, the different types of traumas that a lot of us have dealt with, that cause us to have, if we're not careful, a love-hate relationship with our bodies. So let's talk about the body doesn't heal when it's in a state of attack. So when you hate your body, your brain reads that as a constant threat, right? Because it's for most people that hate their bodies, it's not just a fleeting thought. This is something that they harp on day in, day out. He had some interesting points. Paul the Apostle talks about our carnal mind and the spiritual rage of war with each other, especially when it comes to our bodies. Yes, sis, the water for that. Yes. I mean, Paul himself, right? He had, as we know, he had that thorn in his flesh. And so imagine he prayed and asked the Most High to remove it from him, and the Most High was like, no. So imagine that relationship that he also had with his body, the struggle that he probably had with his body as well, whatever that thorn in the flesh may have been. So yeah, this is nothing new. This is nothing new. So what about chronic self-criticism that keeps the nervous system locked in fight or flight? Because if you're constantly criticizing yourself, your nervous system is like, oh my gosh, I need to escape. I need to escape from this abuse. And your cortisol level, which is the bad hormones, that it stays elevated. It's in a constant state, a heightened state. And when cortisol stays high, the body makes a decision, right? It makes a decision. Your digestion slows down. Hormone repair is deprioritized, so it doesn't become a priority. Your immune function weakens, and cellular repair pauses. So this is what happens when your cortisol level remains high. So the body literally says, this isn't safe enough to heal yet. So you are putting your healing on pause when you're constantly criticizing your body. Healing does not occur in internal warfare. If you are constantly in a war with your body, it requires parasympathetic safety, which is the rest and relaxation. That's what it needs. It doesn't need to constantly be in that fight or flight. A body that feels attacked from the outside or the inside will choose survival over repair every time. It's going to choose to survive. And sometimes it just has to fight to survive. So hatred disrupts care and consistency. It is very hard to lovingly tend to something that you resent, right? If you resent something, you're not going to give it a whole lot of love and attention. You're not going to talk sweetly to it. You're going to be rough. You're going to be gruff. You're going to be criticizing if you resent something. When you hate your body, you're more likely to, and this is how you're talking to your body, right? You're skipping nourishment, or you over-restrict. You over-exercise, or you stop moving entirely. There's no middle ground. Either you're exercising constantly because, oh, I got to lose this weight. I got to lose this weight because you hate the body that you're in. So now you're on this fast track to losing weight. Or you may have just given up. Oh, well, this is what I have. This is what I'm going to deal with. And you just give up and you stop moving entirely. You ignore symptoms or punish yourself for having these symptoms. Or you may sabotage rest with thoughts like, well, I don't deserve to rest yet. I haven't done enough yet. I just don't deserve to get rest yet. And I had to catch myself last night, myself, like I said, I had that fight, that battle that was going on between me, myself, and I. I didn't even have to go fight anybody else. I was in here in a battle with myself about going to sleep or staying up and preparing for today. So me and myself were having this fight, and I was here looking to see, okay, who's going to be the winner? Who's going to be the winner? Until I finally showed up and said, you know what? I'm going to bed. And me and myself had to follow along. Yeah, I had to make that decision. So I know about those sabotaging, those self-sabotaging thoughts where, like I said, I'm fighting this battle and I'm losing all the way around. But healing is not built on punishment. It's built on gentle, consistent repetition. It has to be gentle, but yet consistent. You cannot bully a body into wellness. You can't bully it and believe that it's going to get well. You can't beat it up and think that, oh yeah, I'm going to beat you into submission. It doesn't work like that. It has to be gentle, consistent repetition. And like Dr. Cole says, the mind and body are not separate. They're not separate systems. Thoughts are not just thoughts. Self-loathing alters your neurotransmitters. Negative self-talk increases inflammatory markers. He talked about that, where your CRP level is high. And that comes from it doesn't even have to be an actual illness. Just talking negatively to yourself can do that. Shame correlates with poorer immune response and slower wound healing. So imagine that if you're constantly in a state of feeling shame, you're slowing down your wound healing. Should you get a wound, your immune response is sluggish. And there's no wonder why you get colds all the time. You're constantly sick, feeling run down, feeling tired. Your cells are listening. Even when the hatred is whispered quietly inside, you may not be speaking it aloud. Oh, I hate you, body. You may not be speaking it aloud, but you may just have that little thought in your head. But your body is listening. The body does not distinguish between an external threat and an internal one. It responds to both the same way. And that was another thing that the doctor spoke about. He spoke about autoimmune illnesses, autoimmune diseases. That's how the body attacks itself. So your body is looking at organs or body parts as a threat. And it attacks itself. So your body is not able to differentiate between the external threat or an internal one. And Did you know that healing requires permission? How many of you knew that? That healing requires permission. So on a subconscious level, healing requires permission to receive. If deep down inside you believe my body betrayed me, I'm broken, I should be better than this, I don't deserve to feel good until I fix everything. If you are having these negative thoughts, then your body, your healing is put on pause because you are telling your body that, you know what, you can't heal right now with all of this negative thought. So you now need to talk positively and do positive things so your body can now respond, your immune system can now respond to that positive self-talk or those positive actions. If you're making all these statements, these negative statements, healing feels unsafe or unearned, and the body is going to resist it. Isn't that interesting? And it's not resisting out of defiance, but out of protection, because this is what you're telling your body. You're telling your body, oh, you can't heal just yet. You betrayed me, so you're not even capable of healing me. I'm broken. I'm too broken to be fixed. I should be better than this. I don't deserve to feel good until I fix everything, so everything goes on pause, waiting for you to feel good, and that's a vicious cycle. So hatred fractures the relationship that healing needs. Healing is a collaboration. It's not a command. You can't just command your body, I command you to heal. and yet you're doing all of the things that's contrary to healing. It has to be a collaboration. When your relationship with your body is adversarial, you stop listening to its signals. If you are in that type of a relationship with your body, where it's like an adversary, it's not an ally, you are against your body is against you, then you're not even communicating with each other. You stop listening to the signals that your body is trying to send to you. You override fatigue. So even though you're tired, your body is telling you, I'm tired, I just need some rest. And you ignore it. You ignore pain and you push through the pain. And your body is like, ow, ow, ouch. And you're like, shut up. Shut up. You'll be all right. You override the fatigue, you override the pain. And then what about hunger? You're hungry. Your body is telling you, I'm hungry, it's time to eat. And I'm not talking about, comfort eating where you're just, or emotional eating where you're just eating. But when your body is truly saying it is time to eat and you ignore it. And then you treat symptoms as enemies instead of messengers. So your body is giving you these symptoms. It's giving you a message. It's telling you, hey, I'm not feeling well. You have a fever and you ignore it, or you have a stomach ache, whatever the symptoms may be. You're not listening to your body when it's speaking to you. You cannot heal a body that you refuse to hear, that you refuse to listen to and hear. Sister Adonasa, so the autoimmune diseases can be eradicated if you can pinpoint the thing that is causing it. MS being one, for example, or do you think the damage is already done by the time it's diagnosed and is now permanent? It all, once again, it all depends on what that damage looks like. For some people, I'll use lupus, for instance. For some people with lupus can attack the heart. It can attack the skin. It can attack the kidneys. And for some people with lupus, the kidneys can be severely damaged to the point where they now need dialysis. But once again, it all depends on the signals that you have been receiving, how long it's taken you to respond to these signals, and where you're going to get your treatments and help. Because that matters as well. So yeah, some autoimmune illnesses, yes, can be definitely can be healed. Absolutely. But you don't wait until the condition has now damaged kidneys or other organs beyond repair. And like it says, you just cannot heal a body that you refuse to hear. You're not listening to the body. So how is it going to heal when you ignore it? Then spiritually, what you curse, you block, right? A curse is going to cause a blockage. And from a spiritual lens, biblical, ancestral, or natural law base this truth shows up again and again. Words carry authority. We know that. Our words are powerful. The words that we speak can either heal or hurt. They can either give life or death. Life responds to blessing, not contempt. Continual negative confession becomes agreement with decline. So if you're constantly confessing negativity, your body is going to agree with it, and it's going to go in a downward slope. And you don't have to love how you look, but you cannot heal what you continually speak death over. And we'll get to that point about you don't have to love how you look. I'll elaborate more on that. I'll expound more on that as we go further. But what we do know is that you cannot heal what you continually speak death over. Absolutely. Absolutely, Sister Karama. Absolutely. Welcome in, Sister Karama. Good to see you. Yeah, words are powerful. Yeah. Powerful, power of life and death are in the tongue. Absolutely. So how do you know? What are some of the signs that you will look for to know if you are at war with your body? How do you know if you're at war with your body? So body hatred is often subtle and sometimes socially rewarded. Some signs include, these are some of the signs, these are 7 signs. You only pay attention to your body when something is wrong. You push through exhaustion as a badge of honor. You punish your body to make it acceptable. You delay care until things become urgent. You neglect basic needs such as food, water, sleep, despite knowing better. So mentally and emotionally, you constantly criticize your body, even jokingly. And these are some of the signs for you to be aware of, and that will tell you if you are at war with your body. You compare yourself to past versions of yourself, or you compare yourself to others. You feel betrayed by aging, by illness, or even hormonal shifts. You feel shame around hunger, rest, during your menstruation, or even during menopause. You feel ashamed that now you're old enough to go through menopause. You're at war with your body. Relationally and spiritually, you speak to your body in commands, not conversations. You disassociate from your physical self. It's like your body is here, but you don't even pay it any attention. It's like it's a whole different entity. You don't celebrate what your body can do. You criticize what it can't do, but you do not celebrate what your body can do. You also struggle to receive care from others. And subtly, you feel disconnected from pleasure. That's another red flag when you're not capable of having pleasure, finding anything pleasurable. You believe that healing must be earned through suffering. That's a huge red flag, that you're at war with your body. You override intuition in favor of rigid rules. That intuition is so important. That's you. That's your body speaking to you. And more importantly, the Holy Spirit. But your spirit so spiritually disconnected that your spirit, your body, they're not communicating. You can care deeply about health by being disciplined, and you may know all of the right things and still be at war with your body. How many of us know all of the things that we're supposed to eat? We care deeply about health. We're highly disciplined in certain areas. We know all of the right things, but still we are at war with our body. So let's talk about when body hatred shows up as destructive coping. An example is eating disorders and disordered eating. And so these conditions are rarely about food. They are often about control, punishment, fear, and worthiness. Starving, binging, purging, obsessive tracking. These are ways of surveilling a body that no longer feels safe to inhabit. So if you feel as though you don't even belong in this body, you will starve it. You can binge, you can just eat. You can purge constantly. And what you're telling your body, you may not be speaking it out loud, But the message that your body is receiving is, if I can control my body perfectly, I will finally be enough. I will finally be enough if I can starve myself so that I can be skinnier, I can binge so that I can, just satisfy this hunger. If I can purge, once again, I need to be thinner. You're telling your body that once it becomes perfect, you will finally be enough. And that is not nourishment. That is basically conditional permission to exist. In order to exist, these are the things that must happen in order for me to exist. Here's another destructive coping mechanism: cosmetic and plastic surgery overuse. Surgery itself is not the issue. The issue is the relationship to that surgery. When happiness always feels one procedure away, how many people have we seen? I mean, they're usually all over the TV where, oh gosh, if I can only get that one more procedure, and then that one more procedure leads to another procedure because that last procedure didn't quite do it. It didn't quite make me look as fabulous as I wanted to look, or I think I should look. When the mirror becomes a scan for flaws, every time you look in the mirror, oh my gosh, do I have another wrinkle? Oh my goodness gracious, what's that? What's that mole doing there? So that mirror now becomes a scan for flaws. When relief is temporary and dissatisfaction returns. So that's how you know that this surgery, you have a really bad relationship with surgeries. The body becomes a project instead of a home. It's like a fixer-upper. You're constantly having to fix it up. And you keep saying, nah, this isn't acceptable yet. Just one more layer of paint, just one more lift, one more tuck. And that message never produces peace. Sister Karama, you said that's me. What is you, sis? What in particular? Because I've said so much. Then there's the drug and alcohol addiction. Addiction is often an attempt to escape the body. Because as long as you are in that altered state, you feel as though, oh, you have disassociated, and you do. You disassociate from the body, and you're on a whole other plane. A whole lot of information, but don't follow it. I get it. I get it, sis. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. Yeah, so addiction is often an attempt to escape the body, to numb the pain, to silence emotion, to avoid presence. And I know I worked with a lot of, unfortunately, people that were struggling with addiction, like I mentioned earlier. The underlying message is often, I cannot tolerate being in this body as it is. This is not moral failure. It is unresolved pain seeking relief. And that's what so many people, how they became addicted, whether it is to opioids, where they may have started off honestly because of an injury and they were prescribed opioids and it became a habit. They built up a tolerance, and next thing you know, it turned into a full-blown addiction. For some people, it's that chronic pain. It's when they get off of the medication, the pain is still there. And so what do? They go back to the medication. You said those darn Trader Joe Fritos? Fritos? What are those? I don't know of the Trader Joe Fritos. And I shop at Trader Joe's all the time. Maybe I don't need to know. Maybe I don't need to know since they're the darn Trader Joe Fritos. Yeah, so unresolved pain, seeking relief. So let's talk about body dysmorphia and identity distress. And this is when hatred distorts perception. So these are two topics that require deep compassion, clarity, and honesty. You said, sis, they are so good. Okay. They're probably made with those seed oils. I don't know. Maybe that's why I kind of just rolled my eyes when I walked by them. So yes, these two topics require deep compassion, clarity, and honesty. It's so important that we are honest because they sit at the crossroads of psychology, trauma, and the body-mind relationship. My lips are sealed. I'm not going to talk about your organic Fritos with seed oils. So the first one that we're going to talk about is body dysmorphic disorder. The other is body-based identity distress, including what is commonly discussed today as transgenderism. So let's talk about both, and we're going to carefully talk about these topics. So body dysmorphic disorder, or BDD, is not vanity. It's a perceptual disorder rooted in distress, fixation, and self-rejection. In BDD, the mind becomes locked onto perceived bodily defects. The mirror does not reflect reality, it reflects fear. Reassurance rarely helps someone that is suffering with BDD. Procedures, dieting, or control provide only temporary relief. At its core, BDD is often driven by a belief like this body part is the reason I am not safe, lovable, or acceptable. Oh my goodness, I turned purple. I am frozen and purple. Oh my goodness. Did you all see that? I am purple. Again, this has not happened in a long time. You said we can still hear you. All praises to the Most High. Do you see me purple on your end? Am I purple on your end? Doesn't appear that way. Is it only my camera where I'm frozen in purple? That's a beautiful purple. Oh my goodness. I apologize. So procedures, dieting, or control provide only temporary relief. I'm just going to keep it rolling. At its core, BDD is often driven by a belief like this body part is a reason I am not safe, lovable, or acceptable. The tragedy of body dysmorphia is this: even when the body changes, the hatred stays, because the distress is relational, not structural. So it really has nothing to do with the body itself. It has to do with the relationship that you have with the body. The body becomes a scapegoat for deeper pain. So you are blaming the body for a deeper pain. Now, I'm really going to talk carefully here because I'm already purple, and maybe I said something that wasn't allowed. I don't know, but it's interesting that I'm purple again, and this only happens during certain topics I'm beginning to notice. But I'm going to push forward. Not every person who identifies, we're going to talk about this gently, as transgender experiences body hatred in the same way. Not everyone that identifies as transgender experiences body hatred in the same way. We got to make that clear. Human experience is complex, and no single explanation fits all. However, from a body-mind trauma-informed lens, many individuals who experience intense gender dysphoria also describe these commonalities: profound distress living inside their body, a sense of alienation or disconnection from physical form, long-standing discomfort with embodiment, trauma, shame, or rejection associated with the body. In these cases, the distress is not simply about identity. It's about intolerable embodiment. They just can't tolerate being in the body. The body does not feel like a safe home. When the body is experienced as wrong, unlivable, unbearable, the desire to escape, alter, or redefine the body can feel like the only path to relief. That does not mean that the pain isn't real. It means the pain deserves careful examination, not slogans. So getting to the root of the pain that is causing these thoughts and feelings. And here's a critical point. Changing the body does not automatically heal a broken relationship with the body. If hatred, rejection, or mistrust remains, suffering often persists, just in a different form. Healing must address the relationship, not only the identity or the anatomy. So here are the common thread. This is a common thread. Whether we're talking about body dysmorphia, cosmetic surgery overuse, addiction, eating disorders, gender-related body distress, the pattern is this: the body is experienced as the problem. The body becomes the enemy. Relief is sought through control, alteration, or escape. But healing doesn't come from winning a war against the body. It comes with ending the war. So here's a necessary clarification. Compassion does not mean avoidance of the truth. You can be compassionate towards someone, but you cannot avoid the truth, speaking truth. Truth, however, does not require cruelty. It is possible to honor people's lived pain, honor their lived pain, acknowledge trauma and distress, and offer dignity and care without teaching people to abandon or hate their bodies in order to survive. That is so important. Reconciliation, not erasure, is where healing begins. We have to reconcile with the body that we're in and not focus on erasing it. And that's where the healing begins. So I want to show this short video. I don't know how many of you have heard this story or seen any of the videos about it. In this video that I'm going to show, it's by CBS News. It says, the title is Woman Wins Malpractice Lawsuit Over Gender Surgery as a Minor. Woman wins malpractice lawsuit over gender surgery as a minor. Fair use. This is for educational purposes only. Let me get that up on the screen for you. And I am still frozen and purple. This is bizarre. Let me share the screen with you. Once again, fair use for educational purposes only.
In a legal first, a jury in New York awarded a 22-year-old woman $2 million in damages over her gender transition surgery that took place when she was a teenager. The plaintiff accused her psychologist and plastic surgeon of violating standard practices in their fields that led to her receiving a gender transition double mastectomy that she feels left her disfigured. Benjamin Ryan wrote about the first malpractice verdict against providers of gender-affirming care for minors for the Free Press. He was the only reporter to attend the entire 3-week trial. We should note Paramount, the parent company of CBS News, owns the Free Press. For more on this, Benjamin joins us now here in Studio 57. He is an independent reporter who covers youth gender medicine, including on his Substack. So, Benjamin, let's go ahead and talk about the verdict itself. What stood out to you about the jury's reasoning here?
Well, it's hard to know exactly what they were thinking, but what they were convinced by was that the psychologist and the plastic surgeon didn't communicate well with one another. And the psychologist in particular was faulted for being sloppy and essentially being rushed in his care of this girl. It was only about 11 months between the time where she first socially transitioned at the age of 15 and a half, and she ultimately had her breasts removed at age 16 and a half.
What do you think that this verdict will mean for future lawsuits of this kind?
Well, I've certainly spoken with other litigators, other lawyers in this field, and they do feel that this will embolden others to join the field. Others have been waiting on the sidelines. So there are about 27 other similar cases that I've been able to tabulate. Some of them run into statutes of limitations where there's a short period of time after which you can file a lawsuit. But there's one coming up in Missouri in August, and also very big one, Chloe Cole, probably the most famous detransitioner. Her trial against Kaiser Permanente will be in California in April.
What was it like in the courtroom?
It was very powerful. I think in particular, we've heard a lot about this talk about suicide, about that these treatments and surgeries prevent suicide. And to hear this mother to say that she was opposed to the surgery from the start, that she was browbeaten by the psychologist, in her words, to ultimately consenting, even though she never wanted it. And then we heard from Dr. Lauren Schechter, and he's the head of gender affirming surgery at Rush University in Chicago. And he said he's also, by the way, the president-elect of the World Professional Association for Transgender Health. And he said that these surgeries are not suicide prevention. So that was a very powerful moment.
And we should mention also that it is a very small number of people who do end up detransitioning, right?
The numbers are unknown, maybe 5 to 10%, but there's not enough research for us to really be able to tell at this time.
Okay, Benjamin Ryan, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
The American Society of Plastic Surgeons now says they will advise surgeons to delay gender-related surgeries for patients under the age of 19. In a legal first,
So I disappeared. Are you all able to hear me? I am gone completely. This is bizarre. You're able to hear me, Sister Adina? So are you all able to hear me now? There I am, but now it's not. There we go. Wow. Bizarre. Bizarre. Totally bizarre. But I'm no longer purple. Praise the Most High. What I did after I disappeared, I just went ahead and refreshed my page. I refreshed my page. So I am back. I'm no longer purple. And you can hear me. All praises to the Most High. I hope you all were able to see the entire video and hear the video. So speaking about that, imagine you and your parents. I'm talking about this girl, this little girl. I think she was 16 at the time. She and her parents were convinced by her doctors that she's basically living in the wrong body. And if you don't escape this body, you will end up, off in yourself. Let me just put it that way, as to not draw more attention to what we're talking about here. You will end up off in yourself, only to find out that it was a lie after you made a permanent, life-changing decision. She had a double mastectomy. Isn't that awful? She made a permanent, life-changing decision based on a temporary, emotional, or hormonal imbalance during her teen years. How many teenagers go through these? We did. We went through all of the ups and downs, the hormones. One day you feel one way, the next day you feel another way. You're still trying to figure out who you are as a person. And for them to have allowed a 16-year-old to make that type of a decision to alter her body permanently was evil. And now she has a hatred for her body, more so than the body that her true body that she had previously. She was bullied. I really believe that she was bullied into getting those surgeries. And that's awful, and it's sad. So these are some of the traumas that that so many people face, and they're having to deal with. So let's talk about one of the most painful cycles of all: chronic illness. Chronic illness often begins with loss of trust. The body becomes unpredictable. Energy disappears without warning. Sis, absolutely. But and once again, let me go back to what you're saying there. Once again, they threw in that, oh, if she doesn't have this done, she's going to harm herself. I'm going to use those words. She's going to harm herself. And more than likely, the parents got scared. The parents were scared and thinking, oh my gosh, they must have seen this, where so many teenagers have done that. And you're here really trusting. And that's why we can't put our trust in man like that. We really can't. And mom didn't want a dead daughter. So, and I don't know if this is the same teenager, but I remember a story about when it was a similar situation, and the psychologist or psychiatrist told the mom, would you rather have a dead daughter or a live son? In other words, if your daughter does not do this transition, she's going to be dead. But if she does this transition, at least you'll have a live son. Those were the options that she was given, the mom was given. And I think that those doctors, they should lose their license. I really believe that their license should be revoked. They should not be practicing medicine anymore. That was evil and cruel. So we're talking about chronic illness, which begins usually with a loss of trust. The body becomes unpredictable. Energy disappears without warning. Pain or symptoms show up uninvited. The loss of trust turns into resentment. So here we are with the resentment again. You resent your body. You're telling it, you betrayed me. I can't depend on you. You ruined my life. This is what you're telling your body. To regain control, many people become hypervigilant, tracking everything. Oh, I felt this. Oh, I felt that. Is that, oh my gosh, I wonder what that is. Or pushing past limits or ignoring signals, treating symptoms as enemies. But constant monitoring creates more stress, and stress fuels inflammation, and inflammation worsens the symptoms, and the cycle just keeps repeating itself. So it's important to remember the body responds not just to treatment, but to relationship. And here's a truth that most people never name. Body hatred is often misdirected grief. Grief for the body you used to have. You're grieving over that young, toned body that you used to have, the life you thought you would have, the ease you lost. I used to be able to climb hills and climb upstairs, and now I have all this pain. I can't even climb 2 steps without my knees giving out. You know, these are some of the things we're grieving. We're grieving the ability to climb stairs with ease. And the identity that changed. You are not angry because your body failed you. You are grieving what you lost in that body. So let's talk about reconciliation. Healing does not begin with loving your body. That's unrealistic for many people. Healing begins with reconciliation. Reconciliation sounds like this. I don't like what's happening, but I'm willing to stop fighting you. These are the conversations that you are now having with your body. You are not my enemy. We're on the same side again. We're on the same side. We're going to work towards a common goal. And then when the threat lowers, your body is now beginning to feel more comfortable because now you're talking more lovingly to it. The nervous system can now settle. Hormones can start to regulate. Sleep can actually deepen. So many people, when you are feeling that hatred for your body, you can't even sleep, you can't rest. And the immune system can recalibrate. Not instantly, but meaningfully. It will take time. So let me put it this way. Have you ever had a really good friend, your bestie, and you had a falling out because you felt as though that friend betrayed you? But you know what? You started missing that friend. All of the fun times you had together, this friend we're talking about could be your body. Fun times you used to have together. And eventually you said, you know what? I miss my friend and I really want to reconnect with her and reconcile our friendship. So you finally reconnect, but although you missed her, you still weren't ready to jump right back into the relationship with both feet. You're still kind of skeptical. You're still kind of, you know, keeping her at arm's length. But over time, you rebuild that trust and learn to love that friend again, like you were never apart. If you give your body that same opportunity, I'm sure you can reconcile that same relationship that you once had. And just love your body in the place where it's at right now. You have to meet your body where it's at. We can't, you know, rewind the clock and go back 20 or 40 years. So when symptoms flare, instead of asking, what's wrong with me now? Ask, what do you need from me in this moment? Having that conversation with your body. That single question changes the relationship. Now you're wanting to partner with your body rather than blame it. And healing does not happen through force. It happens through an alliance. So you don't have to love your body. You do not have to love your body. Let's get that straight. You do not have to like what it's doing. And you do not have to deny your pain. But you cannot heal a body that you continually fight. It's impossible. Healing is not the absence of illness. It is the restoration of the partnership. And reconciliation, quiet, honest, imperfect reconciliation is where the healing begins. So before we close, I want to leave you with one important distinction, because this is where many people get stuck. There's a difference between loving your body and self-love. And I needed to make this clear because I said you don't have to love your body. You don't have to love your body, but you need to have self-love. And understanding this difference matters for healing. Loving your body is often object-focused. It's about how the body looks, how it performs, or how satisfied you feel with it. For many people, especially those living with chronic illness, pain, disability, aging, or trauma, being told to love your body can feel unrealistic, dismissive, or even cruel. You can practice deep self-love without liking your body at all. And this is the truth that I want you to hear clearly. Self-love is necessary for healing. Body love is not. Self-love creates safety. And safety is what tells the nervous system you can stand down now. Repair is allowed. Self-love is not a feeling. It's a behavioral stance. And I say that, a behavioral stance, because when you have self-love, your behaviors become protective, not abusive. It shows up as believing yourself when you say you're tired, resting without having to earn it, feeding yourself consistently, seeking care instead of delaying it, speaking to yourself with dignity even when you're disappointed, None of this requires pretending your body isn't hurting. None of this requires gratitude for suffering. You don't get a badge because you suffer. Do you know that it's possible to love your body but hate yourself? Many people love their bodies. We know because we see it all over the TV, all over social media, in our communities. How do we know that they love their bodies? That's all they talk about. Or they show off, they idolize and flaunt it everywhere they go. They're like, hey, look at this body. But how do we know that they don't love their self? It is by the way they disrespect their self, by the way that they treat their lovely bodies. Right? If you love yourself, it is not necessary to constantly talk about your body, to show it off, because now that becomes the focus of attention. Does that make sense? So self-love simply means I do not turn against myself. You can grieve your body. You can feel frustrated with it. You can want it to be different and still love yourself enough to stay present, to be gentle, and to be aligned with your body. So if body love feels too far away, don't start there. Start here. I choose not to abandon myself. I am on my own side. I respond to my body with care, not contempt. That is self-love. And that should be enough. That should be enough. So if this resonated, share what stood out to you, or pass this episode along to someone who needs permission to stop fighting themselves. And I want you to rest without guilt. No need to feel guilty about resting. And we went over tonight, sisters. So I don't know what we're going to talk about next week, but I sure hope that this episode resonated with you, that you were able to get something positive out of this. We lost some time there with us being purple and then me being absent from from the camera. We're not going to talk about the Tea Party and conference tonight. We're going to save that for next week because we're already way over the time. And I want to respect your time, ladies, because many of you have to be at work tomorrow and you need to get to bed, right? So let's continue to grow this channel so that the information can reach Shebrews throughout the four corners of the earth. And even those that are not Shebrews but are willing to be a part of our community, we are to let our light shine so that others can be led to the source of the light. Sister Adana, oh great, let's, Tawada says, all praises to the Most High, all praises to the Most High. I thought it was, you know, a well-needed topic. And once again, I'm glad that I stumbled upon that email and that video. So Thawada, thank you all for your continued love and support. I love you all and always appreciate you taking time out of your very busy schedule to have tea and conversation with me. Thawada again. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. So once again, if this episode spoke to your heart, please share it and invite others to join us next week. Know that I'm praying for you. I'm praying for us. All right? And so until the Most High brings us back together again, may you prosper and be in excellent health. And remember, true healing begins inwardly before it is expressed outwardly. So, beloved, I thank you for joining me on another healing moment of Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty. And remember, healing requires safety, and safety is created by how we speak to ourselves, how we rest, how we nourish, and how we listen. I'm your hostess, Kwala Yakaka, a voice of reasoning and justice. And as always, this is Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty. Shalom and many blessings. Good night, sisters, and have a happy and blessed Purim. Ahabatha. I love you all so much. And if it's the Most High's will, we will see each other next week. Same tea time, same tea channel. Ahabatha. Shalawam. Peace and blessings, sisters.